lot of the people haven't got uh, used to that or don't know that. It still shows that they don't do research.
Right, right.
Or listening to the wrong information. People giving them the wrong information, this and that.
Well,
They're not the same. They're all one and the same.
There's plenty of wrong information out here, Brother L. Because people are so left hemisphere thinking and then trying to ostracize the Moors from being Moors or mirrors and from being Meru American. And they're not realizing that in the definition of, which I've shown here several times in class, when we look at the word Moor or mir, I think we looked up mir in the thesaurus. What's this thesaurus? And it says M-E-R, and then in parentheses it says M-O-O-R. So once again, that verifies what you just said, Brother Al.
Thank you.
But for those who are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, what say you? Y'all have heard these debates. I'm sure y'all seen the videos. Let me hear someone else. I mean, this is just not a conversation between me and Chief Fahim. I would like to know everybody's take on this subject.
To me, it seemed like almost like they got a problem with acknowledging that people like you already have been touching on what they just now coming around to the conclusion of.
Right.
You've already been writing a Zach about a lot of it, and that they just now acknowledging that it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the main topic, Chief, that you wanted to hear our opinion
on? The debate between M-O-O-R, M-U-U-R, or are we not Moors at all and we're just American Indians, and the difference between American Indians and Native Americans. These type of arguments have been brought to the forefront. The Native Americans are calling us Pretendians or Wabu, and then you have us who are saying that no, we Paleo-American, we the original, we the Aboriginal, we are the indigenous. You did not arrive here prior to us or before us. So these are the debates in which that is taking place, and it's everywhere. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as TikTok. So I'm asking the question, what do you say as nationals, as chiefs, concerning this matter? In other words, what would be a way in order to tie this information all together and stop the nonsense in which that is taking place? Because this is really the difference between those who are Generation X and millennials versus Generation Z and Y. In other words, our children that's stepped on the scene trying to come to the conclusion of new information, in which that information that we've been talking about for over 20 years, and they think it's new, right. And and they just jumping on the scene, repeating the same thing in which that I've said, or Brother Taj said, or Hakeem H. Wabe has said, or or Bobby Hemming has said.
Right. No, definitely. I think it definitely has to do with cognitive dissonance and also just like emotions, and spiritual. It's a combination of all because they may not be on a level where they can either understand what's being said or the connection between it all, or it might not just. It could be something that is just not for them. You know, if they're not vibrating on a certain frequency. Because I remember you had did an interview or a joint talk with, if I'm not mistaken, from DC a couple of years ago. When you remember when you're talking about going into the next dimension, when we're raising consciousness levels, a lot of people are going to be left back into certain conscious levels where they're just not going to be able to kind of pick up, what's being put down, or they just can't get past a certain, what I'm saying, they can't get past a certain understanding because they choose not to, or because a lot of people don't want to be wrong, so they don't want to have to go back and be like, oh man, I've been studying this for like 5 years, now I got to go back and call myself a beginner and admit to somebody else or stuff like that. I definitely think it's a combination of multiple different things, but and the thing about it is really is right there because the information is right there for those who really have eyes to see, who choose to see. You know what I'm saying? A lot of arguments have already been done there, right? Already moved, but I think it's more so just an emotional stance. People not wanting to feel wrong, or just what I'm saying. Just a lot of people who just have like kind of like unchecked egos. They just it is what it is.
Yeah, another thing that indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous, Asiatic, all that's one and the same. They do they want to say that they're Indians for the Native American and Indian? Well, the Indian especially is a federalized term. So that goes back to what you mean that you're a British subject. This is what they ain't getting. Evidently not. So a Native American, well, they said that anybody born here in America can be a Native American. So,
Hey.
So they're not American. I'll tell you what not so John. They're talking about being who's the real American, who's not. Well, we are the real Americans.
Right.
Like Alim said, we should be saying American African instead of an African American.
Or just simply American, right?
Yeah, right. We are
right.
American African. That still leave us. We have a connection to the African continent, but we're actually Americans. That's all. That's all we're saying,
Right.
See, when you say African American, that leaves you non-inheritable and non-descendable, as far as America is concerned. So.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that individuals who are from Europe, who say that they have ancestry from Denmark, Germany, Italy, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, etc., would be upset about you taking back your heritage as proclaiming and nationalizing oneself on American soil and saying that you are the land of America, that you are the Tamari or the Tamarians. Right. And the word Tamari means the land of the Moors.
Yeah, God, because just to comment on what we've been speaking on, as far as the so-called European, coming to the realization of what we're speaking on right now, most of them, don't accept it. And it's sad because it's just like the so-called black man who hearing the information, most of them do accept it as well. And for the ones who are accepting it, like we're talking about, people having the discussion about the difference between MOORs and MUURs and the different spellings. And me and it's just because they don't have the information, I guess, that we do or studied or do the research that we did. Me personally, um, you know, I came from different schools as far as, reading different books, going back from the Bible to the Quran to, getting into Kemet, Egyptian hieroglyphics, the Imaginatia. So doing all of those, touching all of those different schools and knowledge. And then once I got into the Morris knowledge, which was after I found out about chakras and all of, those different sciences, I was able to connect the dots and I was able to be like, okay, this goes hand in hand in what I've been, you know, building on before as far as my spiritual development and school and stuff. So for people, I mean, I be online and I be on the different medias and stuff, and I can just see that they just have a lot of agents out here, and they have a lot of people who spiritually blind and just not able to receive. If they do receive the knowledge, they can't go past a certain level because they have the different incarnations, people not just there yet to receive that knowledge, or on the other hand, they have a lot of agents who trying to block the knowledge from coming out, and that's what I see.
Yeah, I also see that there's a lot of remixing going on. They taking my information and others' information and they're remixing it, and then they added in, I guess you could say, new information. Like they taking the Tartarian information, and the Tartarians are the Moors, as we do know that. So it's funny how we're not indigenous. The Moors aren't indigenous to the Americas, but yet at the same time they speak of Tartarian, and the Moors ruled Europe for over 800 years and built the infrastructure of Europe. And the Moors are the remnants of the Tartarians, who were Moors themselves, and which that built the infrastructure of the world. Even
Exactly.
here in the Americas. But
Yeah.
yet you have Negroes talking about they are not Moors, but yet acknowledge in the same breath Tartaria.
That's what I'm saying, dog. That's when you know that they're
This is the
missing school
this is the
somewhere.
cognitive dissonance in which that chief Zephaniah was just talking about.
Hmm.
But go ahead, Chief Charles.
Yeah, so
Sorry about that.
you no worries, Dr. Lee, but you're right. Cognitive dissonance,
Hmm.
and as you say, is real talk. Is either that or it's just agents and they just
Right.
doing their works
Right.
because it's generations that been going on. People of our own kind been you know blocking the knowledge, blocking the light from shining.
Yeah, I second that on the agency, Joe. Definitely a lot of agents out here, especially like within the past couple of years. Definitely a
Oh
lot of
yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
You can see it too, like on TikTok. As soon as you put information, as soon as information come out, there'll be somebody to come to that right away. And I'm talking about
Right.
you'll see a big effort come to that.
You know what I've noticed is that from all of the classes in which I've given, in which I've even been able to publish or make available on YouTube and Patreon and other places, the one subject in which that none of them will bring up is the fact that the Cherokee states specifically that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed on the Delaware River, and it was not in the Kingdom of Morocco. Therefore, making that America would be the Moroccan Empire. And they don't want to deal with that subject. Even though Taj have said it, I have said it.
Hakeem Bey said it.
Right. C. Freeman L. have said it. Right. Hakeem H.Y. Bey have said it. So we have been saying this now for, over 30 years. Have been saying this. But
That's
yet,
Beard pushing that.
Yeah, he ain't the only one. But the thing is that they don't want to deal with that subject. Why don't you want to deal with the fact that the Cherokee, who was part of the Iroquois Confederacy or the Confederation, in which that played a major part on establishing this country, as they are the ones who gave the ideology as well as also the written form of the Constitution for the United States of America to the so-called Europeans. And the Europeans said that they was acknowledged first by the Moroccan people.
Yep.
We think, once again, that it's the Kingdom of Morocco. Well, there was no Kingdom of Morocco because Morocco, right, at that time period, because the Kingdom of Morocco, in which we're talking about, was not accepted until 1956. And that was after the abolishment of our Moroccan consular court.
How could they have made a treaty anyway? They wasn't a sovereign nation.
Exactly.
How could they made a treaty? How did they do that?
Right.
See, that's
obviously
a loophole right there. See.
Right. So there was no Kingdom of Morocco, but there was a Monaco or America in which that acknowledged the United States, the incorporation, de facto government, who had a banner, not a flag, to operate, to do import and export, to do business on the ports, which was the 13 so-called colonies, which they also failed to talk about. So why is it that all these important subjects they don't want to talk about? They don't want to talk about the fact that Muhammad Abdullah ibn Muhammad Bey, who was the Sultan, resided in New York City, at the top part of New York City, in what we now refer to as the Bronx, which was called the seat of the empire. And that he went an hour and a half to Delaware to sign the Treaty of Peace and Friendship on the Delaware River, on the banks of the Delaware River. And this did not once again happen in the Kingdom of Morocco. And this is stated, evidence, proof from the Cherokee Nation, who was once with the Iroquois Confederacy. In fact, they was referred to as the Chickasaw. Broke apart. Part of the Lenape. The Lenape is known to have first greeted and actually was the first one to do a treaty, and that was with William Penn, in which that we now have the so-called state called Pennsylvania, named after William Penn. The Lenni Lenape people were the first to do a treaty with the Europeans, and that was there. Once again, where are the Lenapes located at? Oh, I know where. Delaware. Oh, Delaware again. Oh, New Jersey. Oh, they was in New York City.
Delaware Moors.
That's what they're called. They call it the Delaware Moors. And why Moors?
Facts.
Because that was part of the freaking empire.
You can go read that easily.
They were this is where the Sultan ruled. From out of New York, down into New Jersey, down into Delaware, Maryland, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, on over into Ohio, into what we now refer to as Detroit, the city of Detroit, in other words, Michigan, on into Chicago, the Illinois, down into Missouri. These was all the same people. They told us various names. That's beautiful. But we know that they were Moors. And that the Moors were here. And that matter of fact, all the way down into South Carolina, where we get the Sultry Moors Act. But yet, the Moors didn't come from, the Moors just ruled in Europe. Interesting. Interesting. Hey, well, we continue the discussion. Anyone else want to give their take on what is going on now? Yes, please.
Well, it's just some fire, when you're out there in the field. But even one thing I point out to people is that you can go on Wikipedia and read on Walter Plucker. It says it, fucking Wikipedia. It says it right there that he changed the indigenous names or reclassified them to Negro, Black, Colored, Mulatto. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, y'all, I don't know, Doc. I think it's deeper than just cognitive dissonance. Niggas just don't want to know nothing. And I think we need to just leave them where they at. A lot of people just leave them where they at. We got the proof, we got the fire, and every time they want to speak up, just hit them with it. But it's
well, I know one thing, Deontay, that they don't want to read. That's number one. No one is reading now. Everybody is just watching a 3-minute video.
They want sound bites, and it's like you don't learn from sound bites.
Right.
So,
but they're not going to the actual book.
Sound bites. They're not even watching the videos. The videos are too.
I bought so many books, I had to stop buying books. So I don't know.
Doing half-ass research,
Oh yeah,
because I've seen it in my own bloodline in my family. It went from one member went from mulatto to black this, colored. You know what I'm saying? It's just like y'all don't care about y'all bloodline. Just say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they're not taking a DNA test because that's one of the problems too. They saying, well, the European is going to say in the DNA test that we're just African. That might be true,
and
but he's going to leave clues that you can put together to verify the fact that you're much more.
And that's all evidence of Stockholm syndrome, because if you didn't learn it in school, it ain't true. But you got people that wrote your curriculum. Some of them is telling you the truth, and y'all still don't want to hear it, man. So it's like, that's why I say it's a little bit beyond just cognitive dissonance.
Right.
So, but I'll rest my case.
Yeah. Anyone else? Come on.
I've been on the sides of TikTok where I've seen some of everything. The people just saying, we're just from Africa, the people saying more,
Right.
no matter how it's, whether it's double O or W.
Right. And neither group have taken the DNA test.
And then, of course, the groups of people that say we're Native American, the groups of people that say we're American Indian. I think either way, they're all going to get to the truth, whether they accept it or not. So I think sometimes you just gotta let people just kind of sometimes like be in the struggle, and then they'll find it, even if they don't accept the truth. Some people, they'll eventually find it, even if they don't accept the truth. It'll come to them.
Okay, I think that's a good point right there.
Because even if how do you say it? It's kind of like he was saying a second ago. Like some people don't believe it if they didn't learn it in school, but those people have got to realize nobody has time to teach you everything. Nobody. So you got to do the homework on yourself. Sometimes you got to pick up something and learn something, and stop expecting somebody always to teach you something. It's good to have a teacher, but you're your own. I mean, are you open to even being taught? Some people just, I guess they'll just get it on their own time, even if it's not this lifetime. And then sometimes I personally don't like to argue with people because it feels draining. But sometimes you can say a little something, and from there they'll get it. And then sometimes some people understand things better coming from a particular person. But at the same time, I kind of see where you are coming from, because we're in the age where if you want to know something, you can pretty much find it out from just about anywhere. Like there's really no excuse anymore.
Okay. That's true. Very true. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, like I know one brother was saying that the shirts I wear,
Right.
Saying you going out to Clayton like that? Because Clayton mainly, mostly European. With that shirt on, I said, yeah, I do it all the time. They never gave you no problems. I said, no. Usually when they do, they usually ask me, what's all that information consist of? They said, oh, okay. They said, all right, that's cool. I said, yeah, okay. But I told them, when you join a movement like the Moorish National Divine Movement, you can't be scared.
Right.
You can't be scared, brother. I said, they even tell you in them temples. You come down here, so if you come down here now, you can't be scared now.
Right.
And that's true.
Yeah, well, they ain't got nothing they need to be scared of. But anyway, that's another story.
Right. I'm just saying, but as far as
it's sad to say. But,
go ahead.
No, I just said it's sad to say, but yeah.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, but as far as these other movements, people like Dan Calloway, and I haven't heard from him in a while. But Dan Calloway and even Tariq Nasheed with this FBA,
Right.
The FBA, the Foundation Black America. Where's your Black America at on the map? Show it to me.
Well, like I said, the FBA is nothing but the FBI.
Pretty much.
The reason why is because, come on, his first video, Hidden Colors, he dealt with the Moorish information, and then he went back to Black and Negro, and Huh? So see, that was to take the movement away from the Moors, which was the most popular thing. It's the same thing in which that said he tried to do prior to the debate with me. You know, he was doing the same thing. These are agent moves, covert agents, or as Chief Jelani will always say, he said either it's out of ignorance or conspiracy.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mind ignorance because we can help correct ignorance, but conspiracy, and you just keep doing it over and over again, knowing damn well that is not accurate,
we'll keep on
and that means that you are purposely doing it, and then I have no choice but to conclude that it's a conspiracy.
Right. Because some of them are very intelligent people, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
You're not an ignorant man. You're not an ignorant sister. So why are you still talking like that?
If you're getting paid, oh yeah, you put your brain towards making sure that they get the best response, get the best information out there. As confusing as it is, and as irrelevant as it is, you have a platform now to reach hundreds and thousands of people. And see, the thing is that with Tariq Nasheed doing Hidden Colors, he had a platform of millions of people. Now, I know that I don't even have 100,000 people, but yet the FBI came to me in 2016. And they wasn't trying to pay me now, but they definitely gave me a warning. And the FBI agent told me that as long as I don't get over 100,000 followers, they won't come after me. But if I get over 100,000 followers, they come in. Now, Tariq Nasheed, he has put out these Hidden Color videos, and he was being backed by the Jews, and now he comes up with this FBA shit, which is, he put a patent on it, I might add, a trademark, I might add, I should say. Just like African American is trademarked, or have a patent on it, whatever we want to refer to it as. Copyright, trademark, patent, all of that shit deals in the same area. You do know that, right? That the term African American is patent?
Okay.
Yes.
I think you told me that a while back. I think you did.
Yeah.
Tell me that. I said, oh shit.
Well, Tariq Nasheed, he patented the term, or trademarked the term, or copywritten the term, however we want to discuss it, say it. But there is a difference. But he did what he did with the word FBA, Foundational Black Americans. So now he have Negroes out here talking about it who know nothing about being Moors. Never even heard of the term Moors.
They haven't.
In many cases, because number one, the temples are not doing their jobs.
At all.
Because they're not publicizing the information. They are holding it like it's a goddamn free, a slave Masonic lodge.
Yes.
Like the 101s is that precious. And this is information that you can pull up on Scribe right now.
So hold on.
You can pull up the Moors. You can pull up the Moors Holy Quran Circle 7 on Scribe right now. You can pull up the 101s on Scribe right now. You can pull up the 102s on Scribe right now. You can pull up the Moors literature on Scribe right now. The three basic books or written statements prepared divinely prepared or put together by Prophet Noble Drew Ali is found there.
So where's their secret?
Right. What is it? Islam more? Because that's all they say. Yeah.
If you can't have 100,000 followers, we can. Right?
Yeah.
I know you know more than I do, but I mean, I pretty much know what you know. We all know what you know.
That's the point of me passing this information on.
Copy that.
So everybody can have a clarity on how to do research, study, how we put the pieces of this puzzle together, and how our information is far superior than the information on which that we have learned in school, at a university, or in college, or etc. I mean, they have some information on which that is good, and we can utilize the crumbs in which that was left, but it's not the whole cake, and it's definitely not the icing. The icing, good God Almighty, is what we're talking about. That cherry on top is what we're talking about. You know, and that's knowing who you are DNA-wise so that you have a lineage. Do you know that I'm still searching information concerning lineage, genetics, DNA? And here I am, I'm looking on my father's side of the family tree, and I find out that, hold up, he's related to Dr. York's mother and father.
Ain't that something?
And guess what? Dr. York's father, who some say was not his biological father, his alleged biological father was in Sudan, who was the son of the great Mahdi.
Sudanese.
However, what we find out is that I think his name is Pepper York. He was Montauk. Now that's deep. Dr. York said that he's Yamasee because of his mother's side, but his father's side was Montauk. Once again, I can't say if it was a biological or step, but his step father, as they would say, was Montauk. And the fact that his mother and father, because regardless, he was still born from his mother, who was related to Piper York. So even if Piper York was not the father to Dr. York, his mother was still related to Piper York, and therefore that still made them, because come to find out, they were second cousins. And so that made them, so that still made him part of Montauk. Genetically, through his mother line. Because they was related. The mother and the father, they were second cousins. So I'm looking at the Montauk lineage because me and Dr. York are second cousins. And it is nothing but cheese. Chiefs. So I'm like, God damn, we was meant for this shit. So I'm still studying. I'm going back and I'm looking, I'm researching. I'm like, damn, this is phenomenal. This is so phenomenal. And you can't get this. Because oftentimes the relatives don't know all this information. So they can't tell you. They can just say things like, well, Grandma, we Africans, we came on slave ships. No, baby, we Cherokee. Okay. Grandma told you that. You know, Grandma told you that, but you ain't got no proof of that. So you go with the scenario of what they tell you in school.
Right.
And what they told you in school is that, oh, your name was Kunta Kinte, and we brought you over here and we named you Toby after we whooped that ass. And we said, don't you ever use that goddamn term Kunta Kinte again. You are Toby, nigga. You Toby and nothing else but the Tobys.
Why you had to pick that goddamn turban off?
Correct. As a matter of fact, being a Tobys means that if you keep acting up, we're going to cut them toes off.
Oh, boy.
And so we went with the scenario. Did you see what they did? This is 1977. I remember this shit like it was yesterday. Me watching this goddamn movie shit for 3 days. Oh shit! They done beat Kunta. They made him told it. They got the nigga foot on. Oh God, Jesus!
The Jesus.
Nigga came off the boat saying, Allah Akbar. By the time it was over, oh Lord Jesus.
Well, they did his thing.
Phyllis said, don't you come over here fucking around trying to damn end what I'm trying to do, nigga. I'm trying to survive just like the next nigga over here. Shit, Matt's been good to me.
Boy.
He feeds me. He housed me. He even let me play my banjo when I want to.
That's what he talked, man.
The crazy part is nobody ever asked the question like, how did all of these Western Africans learn English? You know,
right.
If they couldn't read and write and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People never stop to ask themselves that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what they showed in the movie. Oh, she felt sorry for us. The white lady, she took us to the side when we was young and she taught us how to read. First we started with the Bible. And Lord said, you can pick that cotton.
I never seen the movie. Like, I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. But I remember seeing on social media a few years ago, somebody had put a clip of it was a lady talking to these children. You know, they was melanated or whatever, copper tone, and the lady was showing the children the Africans or whatever, basically telling them like they different kind of people. We not the same people, basically. Like they not like us, and we American, you know, children or whatever. But you know, they from a different place, and you know what I'm saying. I remember seeing that clip. I'm like, dang, maybe I do need to go watch this movie just for the sake of catching little stuff like that.
Yeah, because they was they was giving us the truth in a sense that there's American Negroes and there's African Negroes. That's what they was doing. Yeah.
They ain't gonna say African Moors and American Moors though. They ain't gonna say that.
No, they don't want to say that. Don't want to say that. So this is the reason why I'm like, oh, okay, so us coming into knowledge of ourselves and saying that we Moors is a threat. Because when I was saying Negro, Black, and Colored, African American, oh, you is? Go and fill out that form. But as a Moor, but as a Moor, oh no, we reading this form. You ain't supposed to be reading that. Go on and sign that form, nigga. And get them benefits and get what you need to do. That's how they act when you're Moor.
We got a black ink pen over there waiting for you.
Right, exactly. When you're Moor, they don't treat you the same. So that's how I know that this is real, because you go up in there as an Indian. Oh, you Indian? What tribe? Oh, yeah, you look like you got a little bit of Cherokee in you.
Oh, man. Got us all
But you say you're a Moor. Damn, boy.
Oh,
Terrorist watch. You a sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen. They are scared of that term Moor because they know what it means. Niggas, we are rowdy enough to rule your ass. We ruled you for 800 years in Europe, and we're going to damn dominate your ass right here, right now. So this is why they are scared of the rise of the Moors. All of these niggas over here in Massachusetts calling themselves the rise of the Moors. Get them.
That's why I accepted them when they came in Missouri. You went to deal says, you accept us? Yeah, I give them my okay.
Yeah, they wasn't only calling themselves Moors, dog. They were picking up arms. Get them. The rise of the Moors. They were not just calling themselves Moors. They were organizing to the point where, they were, gathering arms and, doing stuff like that, trying to get their military and stuff up. So that's why they had to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to get Jamil for sure.
Yeah. And the question is, what happened to the rights to bear arms?
Right.
Oh, I know what it was. Oh, they didn't go through your procedure the way in which that you wanted to go through, but yet the Constitution don't speak of a procedure. The Constitution just states that you have the right to bear arms. It doesn't say, oh, you got to go into a pawn shop and fill out this damn paperwork. And when you fill it out, we got to damn run a background check on that ass. And then if you pass, then you can pick out the gun that you want.
Not even that.
I got a question in regards to that, because I know that's considered property when we talk about arms. So until you have a trust set up, a private trust, irrevocable trust, whatever, what would be the best thing to do as far as, would it be putting your property under like the temple, under, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, or the 98 Trust, or what,
Nah, you would put it under your 508c1a. So the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, which is a trust within itself, is a religious ecclesiastical trust. and then you tie that to irrevocable trust or revocable trust, depending on which one you want to do.
Now, the irrevocable trust is the one that probate court, they can't dip their hands in, right? Or
Right, exactly.
Basically, all the trusts they can't touch once you set it up that way.
For the 508 is, well, having a 508, you basically got your own, you got your own Vatican
Right.
for comparison at least.
Steve.
Doc, did you get that? Did you get that? That double barrel? You picked that up?
No, I ain't get it yet. The place down here didn't have it, so I got to keep looking around for it. But I found it online.
Oh yeah.
1,500.
That was less than the one you showed me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else want to go and tell the story of what they've been dealing with as far as concerning watching these particular groups or people try to come up with new knowledge in which that has been reprocessed, as I call it, it's been reprocessed. So who else want to go?
Well, I can go on ahead. Still got a lot of these groups. Got one group here called the African. They'll say African American. They say African, and they've been catching hell. They've been catching hell since the '60s. I'm surprised that they're still surviving. And somebody told me, said, yeah, they honeycomb the FBI agents. I said, I believe it. But they had some dealings. Boulder had some dealings. Allegedly had some dealings with China and stuff like that, and it sounded like a lot of FBI bullshit to me.
Right.
They got dealing with China to build a runway here and then for land they plan. I said, oh, that sounds too ridiculous to me. To try to do something like that.
Right.
So that's it. They come up with all kind of shit, to split us apart. And like a lot of people say, I don't have us, and they don't have enough evidence that Tariq Nasheed is an agent, and
right, of course. Right,
but they're not gonna come out and tell you that.
Right. I mean, but just look at the evidence. I mean, come on. His first video, Hidden Colors 1, dealt specifically with Moorish issues, dealt with the Moors. All of the questions basically in there was concerning Moors. Anybody remember that?
I remember that.
That's a fact. He brushed right over it, really.
No. And then he went back to black.
So that he knows what he's doing.
That's just like people saying, well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali came and put the term Moors in this day and time, and then we have Elijah Muhammad, who went back and started teaching us that we was black.
Yeah, that's what I got a problem with. See.
But see,
that's what
even he used to say so-called black.
Right. Okay.
So-called black is better than foundational black American. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Because he's saying that we were so-called black. In other words, so-called means that somebody is calling us that, but we don't have to accept that. That's the way that I see that. So. But who want to go next with this? With the information concerning what is taking place in the so-called conscious community, like I said, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube.
I don't think most people talking about much of anything. Honestly, what I see, that's just my opinion. I like D-Dale. I mean, that's one guy I like, but I don't know. Everybody else ain't really talking about nothing. Nothing I ain't heard since I've been in this, and I still consider myself new. So
Right.
I think
Brother B-Dale.
Here.
Yeah, brother, I like B-Dale. I talked to Brother B-Dale yesterday.
Oh yeah, I like his information.
Excellent, young brother, 30 years old, coming into the movement, and he's been studying, and he'll tell you he's been studying my information, Phil Valentine's information, Dr. York's information, and he just took it and put it together, the way that he needs to, in order to get the message out to the younger people, So he is a millennial in which that is getting the information out. But like I say, Generation X and the millennials, we still doing our damn thing. You know what I'm saying? The problem is Generation Z and Generation Y. And those are the ones who are under 30 years old who are coming out believing that they're saying some important information, and they're causing dissension amongst the ranks of these particular generations. So anybody else want to talk on that factor and what will be the end result? What would be essentially what would be the solution? Anyone?
I think discernment is the biggest thing. Because 10 years ago, I went through that phase at a Nuwapian, wearing an timid this and that, and then 2018 I came around what I thought was the Moors or whatever you want to call it, but come to find out they, de facto talking about naturalization and not nationalization. A group of Moors in Detroit, the guy that owned more herbs, Isaiah Orton Bay, they talk about naturalizing, stuff like that. So as I came along, coming across these different groups up until Washington 2021, I look back and I'm like, man, thank God for the service.
His wife got a store next to us. His former wife got a store next to us.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Maria Bay. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I didn't know that. So she down there now?
Yeah, she down here, and she got a store right next to us.
Wow.
All right.
They've been to more herbs in probably about 3-4 years, probably longer than that.
Right.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
They got all them sons together. They got like 4 or 5 sons.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they was down here with her. Yeah, they was down here with her during the summertime. Yeah.
So that oldest boy, I put it like this: he wasn't even walking yet when I first met them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I'm like, man, but yeah, I think the solution is, they just gotta have discernment. People that's coming into consciousness, eventually they run across the science, and hopefully, I mean, it's okay to listen to folks, but you gotta, come to having your own discernment,
Right. And now what led you to draw your own conclusions? I mean, how was you able to get through the muck and the mire, as they say?
I don't know. I just noticed a lot of red flags. Like I said, with the Moors, the group of Moors in Detroit, they're talking about naturalization. And it was certain stuff that they asked for, and they go through some temple in Baltimore or something like that. I don't know. It, you know.
Yeah, well, in Baltimore, that would be Bratton Bay.
Yep. So I'm, Flint about 45 minutes to an hour away from Detroit, depending on where you're going. Right. So I wasn't going down there as much, you know what I'm saying? And in 2019, my mom transitioned, and then I had been out of holistic training school for about a year with Dr. Brown down in Detroit.
My mom transitioned in 2019 too, God.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, that's a hell of a year. When you mentioned when you came across your records from the state of New York,
right.
After she had passed and things started to get and so that was the same thing for me as far as like, how you just feel like it's a whole new life for you now that, your mother or who you know to be your mother is gone. So I had came across him more in Arizona, but he's from Flint. And he had his own group going, It's called the Burning Bush Tabernacle or whatever. Very, very knowledgeable. Got a lot of books. He would only ask for a donation, even if it's $5 for any PDF, version of a book that you can't find. The problem with him was his ego, and then I know he from the same place I'm from, so I know him in a sense, and these other guys that was around him for a year before me, they just know him, I know how how somebody from the crib, you can pick up certain stuff, and so I got away from around that, and then I ran into Johnny and brother Deshaun, they out of St. Louis. Well, Deshaun from St. Louis, Johnny moved to St. Louis at some point, and I was on his class that he was having like every Wednesday on Facebook, and we was getting ready to do the RV Bayway, which I had heard a lot about. I had came across Cujo and Day, and I started learning about what's his name, your guy, the 80-some-year-old guy.
Tosh Rodriguez.
Tosh, yeah, all of them. So 2020 was really that's where I really started leveling up. The year of the pandemic, the first year of the pandemic. Because we was able to sit still more, and but yeah, I met Johnny and Deshaun. I think it was coming out of 2020, and it was a few other people like my own brother. We got the same mom. One of my cousins. We all had like a group, where we would like video chat on Facebook on the in the inbox or whatever. And then I eventually met Chief Joff through Johnny. And to Johnny, he was like, man, I know we was gonna go this route because he did something in St. Louis, but it was de facto or whatever. I don't know. So that's why he was going through the paperwork stuff again for him personally. Everybody else, it was their first time actually doing, getting ready to do some paperwork stuff, And then I was the last one left, me and Deshaun. So he like, man, I want to tell you about Washington. Long story short, he broke it down. But when I talked to Chief Joff the first time, like everything he broke down from beginning to the end, basically, I had never heard this from any other like group of Moors, no other temple, like nothing. And I'm like, I started automatically, because I have strong discernment, so I started automatically questioning, like, damn, how come temples don't know half this stuff this man just told me? I know they don't, because they didn't mention none of this stuff about their UCCs and, private trust and this and that. It was just all about correcting your status, your appellation, and that was pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Everything was all about membership after that. It wasn't about like genealogy, doing your tree to find, who your people really are. If y'all had land grants and stuff, or all this kind of stuff, But yeah, the trust stuff. So everything after you do nationality was all new to me 4 years ago. And so I was sold off of that, and it take a lot for me to, just, but yeah, I mean, and that's just a super, super abbreviated timeline from 2018 to 2021 to now,
Right.
And it made me really open my eyes to like, okay, Then I didn't know there's a difference between de jure and de facto temples. Paying attention to stuff like, oh, they got a banner with gold fringes around it in their temple, or they put the banner before the Moroccan flag. Just stuff like that started. And Cujo, he helped a lot with that too. You know, exposing a lot of the dirty stuff, what we call it, going on. You know,
right?
And I noticed a lot of them wasn't. You know, a lot of these guys wasn't talking about even Washington. They might mention the Empress, like even. I saw a video a couple of days ago where somebody mentioned the Empress. Oh, yeah, she owned the United States all the way up to Canada and this and that. They had mentioned her briefly, but I'm like, it seemed like you know enough to where you like should be questioning your temple or whatever group you did all your like nationality stuff through or whatever. Because, like I said, and I say it every year, man, I don't mean to sound biased just because I'm on this call, but I'm telling you, I never saw nothing like this. This is the best demonstration I've ever seen in 7 years, you know. And there ain't no turning back, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the icing on the cake was when you, like, showed us your tree. I'm like, damn, this man actually related to all these people, you know, and they didn't even know it when they was living. You know, like the Empress, who knows? You know, she might have known. You know, you just never know.
Well, I mean, I got a chance to meet her. You know, in 2004, May of 2004, right after her birthday, we went to California, and we went to the Joe, who was our son, took us to her in the nursing home, and we talked with her. You know, and she told us, have y'all read my book? And we said, yes, ma'am. We got the book right here. She said, good. That's what y'all going to need in order to keep this thing going. So she already gave us the blessing there. She told us that's what we're going to need in order to keep this thing going. So that's why I don't deviate from it when I hear people try to say, oh, there's a difference between the M-O-O-R and the M-U-U-R and the number card and the fucking... You know what I'm saying? Because he interchanged the information in there. One minute she said M-U-U-R, next minute M-O-O-R.
See, if Negroes knew that these letters are interchangeable, we wouldn't have these problems.
Right.
And even stuff like having a seat at the United Nations, you know, talking to the man that that sit in that seat, you know, it's crazy. Like, I ain't never heard no temples talk about this stuff.
Yeah, and one time they were saying that she didn't even have a number at the United Nations. I go to the website, the United Nations website, and we put in Washita. Washita don't even exist. It's not even there. I'm like, dude, I've been going to the United Nations since. Right, I've been going to the United Nations since 2007. What are you talking about? We are there.
The Louisiana Purchase did not even realize all of that.
Right.
Washita.
Right.
I posted it in the WhatsApp. I don't know if y'all saw it about what the Empress, one of the letters she received that details the parishes that was divided up in Louisiana. I don't know if I put it in WhatsApp the other day.
No, I didn't see that. Send that to me, God.
All right, I'll email you, Doc. This is that one part of the book.
It's my phone number. It's my phone number. Yeah, if you on the WhatsApp, it's just my phone number. The 252-999-4377.
See, yeah, 252-999-4377.
Yeah,
I'll send you that one part out of her book I was reading last night. I said, man, it's right here, man.
Okay, good, yeah.
Even with the science and stuff alone, like more science alone, you can get just a little bit of information and start questioning like all of these gurus and master teachers that don't even acknowledge that they Moors. That I got that from Cujo too. And I'm like, oh, at the end of the day, all these folks just want to keep a platform. They want to keep people in slavery, as they say, just like the NOI.
Exactly.
You know, just like the all of these what the 5%ers, even though, you know, they got some knowledge, it came from the science, you know, but all of these groups, RBG this and that, it's like, oh, they just want to keep an audience. Tariq Nasheed, Umar, all of these guys, the young dude that got in trouble, I forgot his name. You know, they be knowing. Yeah, like they be knowing all that stuff. But they like, I ain't about to talk about that because then people gonna start, you know, being too free, basically, or independent or whatever.
And gravitate towards us because we're the only ones that can actually prove land ties through United States court cases.
Exactly, Doc.
You know, so, let me say this because Candake is here too. The goddess is here, and she'll tell you from the classes that we have taken at the University of Oklahoma, getting the MLS, Masters in Legal Studies, in Indigenous Law, she would tell you that in not one court case that we've studied, not in one, were the indigenous people able to prove land rights because it was always being dictated to them by the United States government.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. Because like they always said, it always stuck with me, I am your ward. No, you're not ward. You're the ward to the state. They kept saying that over and over. And it just made me think at some point, most of the Native Americans have to realize, whether they're pretending or not, they have to realize that the government's never going to treat you how you think you should be treated because you're the ward.
Exactly.
Showing them all the time.
Yeah, that's what she classified as.
Yeah, so, exactly.
So we talk about, you know, about solutions, and you know, Dr. Alim, you hit the nail on the head because that's the solution right there. You know, proven land ties, and
exactly
is the only Moorish people that could do that. So if we could do that somehow, like officially, internationally, you know, prove that all of this has been already proven, but prove it in a way where we could take it to the, you know, the international body, whatever body that may be. And as far as locally, you know, Steve Zephaniah, he brought up something that we was doing and putting together where we're trying to, you know, spread the information to the local population wherever you're located or domicile about awareness about Washita. Okay, so we was thinking about going to different schools and different public venues where we could pass out like a pamphlet about information about Washita, facts about these same land cases, you know.
Right.
So
if you notice, if you watch a lot of the TikToks, they'll stating the word Washita when they teaching, but they don't know nothing about Washita. Not enough in order to prove anything. To prove anything. If you notice that, they would say the Washita has been documented as the oldest indigenous people on the face of the earth. They'll say something like that, or the Washita, the Cherokee, the Seminole, you know, they throw us in that also. I mean, they'll say things like that. But as far as like just getting straight to the nitty gritty and saying, look, these are the court cases, show the particular families, the Turnica, hence related to the Washita or Washington clan or families in which that, you know, won these court cases back in 1848, you know, years before the Dred Scott case decision, showing that we have land ties. And see, there's even a guy going around named Yusef L, who is saying that those court cases were repealed. And I'm like, you you can't repeal a land grant.
That's why I'd say now guys are agent.
That's a really good point.
Right. Right.
You can't and stuff like you have to be an agent here.
Right, right, because there's no way you can't repeal a land grant.
Damn.
Because a land grant.
How would you already say that? I'm sorry.
Exactly, because in the particular, this land grant came from the French and the Spanish. So how did the United States repeal that?
In an inferior position.
Hey.
Right, and it was in an inferior position. And even when Thomas Jefferson attempted to purchase part of the Louisiana Purchase, which he never purchased, what he's supposed to have been purchasing, because Napoleon never received rendered full service. Hell, almost $4 million in gold was sunk off the coast of Florida. The other 11 million he did receive, but he stated his sentiments at the time, that, as we know, it wasn't purchased. The whole thing, the only thing he ended up purchasing was the barracks, a couple of barracks and streets in New Orleans. That's it. Everything else was ours. On up into, as Bobby was saying, on up into Canada. So there's no way that you can repeal. Well, I'm trying to figure out how the hell you repeal the land grant.
Hey, Steve, also, sorry, not to cut your wisdom, I was going to say, also, if you listen to the words that's being used here, like, for instance, I know earlier we was talking about ward, and then we talking about the land grants. It's all trust language as well, too. So you can see grants that's how you can kind of crack the matrix to kind of see between the lines and seeing what the words people using, because there's plenty of words that are synonyms to grantor, trustee, beneficiary. They don't have to always just say that word, but even in the word, it's the land grant. You can't repeal a grant once the trust is done. It lets you collapse it. There is no repealing it. Exactly.
Hell, the Constitution itself is a trust. So shit, if a land grant can be repealed, then so can the Constitution. Right, repeal the Constitution. But they can't do that because their oath is based on the Constitution. Every official takes their oath to the Constitution.
Sure do.
Everything they do is based on what was given.
And all of us becoming Washington, essentially, we have the trust within our grant that it can't be repealed. So when you hear somebody say that, once again, in my mind, agent.
Right.
Whether it's out of ignorance or conspiracy. That's the problem I have.
Type of stuff up, when you bringing it up, I'm going to cut you up. Then, the excuse is, well, that was, that came out back in the 1800s. That don't even count no more. Or that don't even apply no more. Huh?
Does the Constitution apply?
Right.
The Constitution was made in 1789 through 1791 when it was officially, when it was made official. 1791? That was almost 150 years before 1848, wasn't it? Well, how much? How many is that? No. 18. Yeah, that was about, 60, 70 years before?
I got sent you that on the website. I think it's chapter 8. The Empress, she chose that document. It's hard to read. I had to use chat to try to decipher.
Right.
It spells it out pretty well. that land wasn't supposed to be included.
And that would even make sense because you'll be using case law from 18th whatever to prove cases, to win cases in the 25th.
Like I said, we are in law school. Well, the guy just graduated this past May. Alayhi salam upon
I'm ready to go back. I do. I want to do the Juris Doctorate.
Right. Of course. But what I'm saying is that what years were we using a lot of those court cases? Weren't they from the 1800s?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So why are we being taught these cases from the 17 and 1800s are relevant, but yet when we bring up our documentation, oh no, that's irrelevant. That was 200 years ago. We know, you know that it ain't got no bearing on this topic right now.
No, it's very relevant.
What kind of shit is that?
That's some agent shit. That's what that is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a lot of the professors at OU have worked in government, like like in Washington D.C.
Right.
Professor Oswald, she was never my professor, but I had met her at graduation. She teaches the international something. I forgot what it was called, international studies or international business, I think. And they've all worked under presidents and with Congress, and they don't really mention too much of the things we talk about in here.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to, because they have to keep perpetrating the fraud that the Siberians, those who came across the Bering Strait from Siberia, are the original ones who came into the Americas and settled into the Americas 13,000 years ago, and they are part of the Clovis, Clovis, culture and people. And therefore, they have the oldest rights to the land.
Yeah.
But yet they don't. But yet, where's the proof of land ties? And then why do we have court cases? Remember when I showed you all the court cases of Gong Loon versus the United States? I believe the United States. Versus Rice. Gong Loon versus Rice. Why is a case of Chinese people mentioned in the definition of Negro, black, and colored?
Yeah.
Y'all remember those definitions in Black's Dictionary?
Yep. I think you got it in the First World Order too.
Yeah, I do. Why is the cases related back to Chinese people?
Well, at one time they were calling Chinese black. At one time. They weren't white. If they weren't white, they were black. So
right, they was people of color. Right, they was people of color. Right, they was people of color. Interesting.
So I have a question. A question about what you were saying earlier about the FBI. So how would you handle getting over 100,000 followers due to what the FBI said to you? Because you've already got well over 100,000 views. And because you have so many views, and because some people may end up subscribing to you not because of nationality, but maybe because they like your herb videos, or just whatever they like that you have, because you do a lot. So I was just wondering, like, when you get your 100,000 or over 100,000 subscribers, like, how would you handle that?
I don't got a problem with it, because he's talking about followers as far as me setting up an organization.
Right.
So, for example, we having 100,000. We having 100,000 followers as far as United Watch Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to be members.
Right. They would have to be.
That'll be actually Washita.
Right. Nationals. Right. That's what he's talking about. Right. Yeah. They don't care about the views that you're getting. You know, as long as you ain't trying to, bring that together. This is why Tariq Nasheed didn't keep dealing with the Moorish information, because you would have to come into the realization, it's time to form something for real.
Mm-hmm.
And him having access to millions of people who've done seen Hidden Colors 1, 2, 3, etc., what gave him that ability. But instead, the Jews paid him off, I'm sure, to keep his mouth closed, because individuals such as young Pharaoh, let me say this, he got stepped to by the FBI, and he took the money. And this is the reason why he ended up going crazy, talking about body slamming his baby mama, and shooting through the goddamn house.
That's why he gone now.
Yeah. This is real. So when I say that they stepped to me, they ain't offer me no damn money, because they knew obviously I was going to be corrupted by that shit.
Right.
So they just ended up giving me a warning. All right, nigga, they don't give you no money, but we're going to give you some advice. We're going to give you some advice. And the advice is, right, and the advice is, get turned into a goddamn nightclub. Tariq Nasheed Museum got turned into a nightclub. So you can go there in order to see him sing and rap.
Oh my God, man. Oh man.
Yeah. You didn't know? See, these are charlatans. These are clown-ass niggas in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not trying to build anything of real substance. These are the straw men. Looking for a brain. You know that's what it is about the straw man. They looking for a brain. And this is what I call these brain-ass dead niggas. Because they looking for a brain. They looking for a brain. They straw man. That's what's going on. So you got straw people following these straw men. Then you got those who like they on a goddamn seesaw on the fence. They like the cowardly lion. Oh, I don't know what I need to be doing. You got them type of niggas. But they know I ain't that type of nigga. You ain't scaring me, and you ain't paying me off. You don't get the fucking facts, you don't get the truth. That's what you won't get. If the truth wasn't going to be relevant, don't put it in the goddamn book. That's the truth of the matter. Because you know, as the saying goes, you can put $1 million in the book, but the nigga ain't going to read it. Well, I'm sorry, but this Negro here will. Now read into the damn pages.
And
read
earlier,
into the pages turn black.
And earlier, you said something about what did you say? Generation Y and Z. So that'd be like people born in the 2000s, or
right.
What is that? 2010 or now?
Right.
Exactly. And you said that they're doing what?
After 99.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You have Generation X, who was born 1965 to 1989, somewhere around there. Then from 89 to 2000 would be the millennials, I guess, and then from 2000 until now, 5 years ago or so, you would have Generation Z, I believe, as they call it. But then they threw in Generation Y up in there. So I'm just saying, this is what they're saying,
So Generation Y is the same as millennials. That's 1981 to 95.
Right.
Then Gen Z is 96 to 2012, and then
Alpha. Thank you. There we go.
13 and 24. Yeah. And then now they Generation Beta now 25.
Right. Yeah, they got Generation Beta now.
Yeah.
I don't know how they skipped over Alpha, but I get okay.
Yeah, Gen Alpha is 2013 to 2024.
I be thinking maybe splitting up these generation things for like their purposes, but as far as me splitting up splitting up generations through Pluto.
Right, but if you go
back and read, we used to be Gen A. I was born 82. Then they changed it. Like 10 years ago. I don't know.
That Generation X. And see, for Generation X, you go back and do some research. That actually was a comic book in which that was put out by Stan Lee, in which that was an offshoot of the mutants of the X-Men. Generation X was were mutants. They was the offsprings of the X-Men. Actual comic book. Okay. But I'm gonna end class right here. Unless someone else got anything that they want to build on or say before we leave.
I got a question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
To travel, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember I was telling you I was gonna get this conveyance from this guy on my mail route. So I'm gonna get that. So once I get the VIN number and stuff, you want me to complete the application online and send it to you?
Yeah. That's the way you're gonna do it. Yes.
Okay. Because I already paid and stuff. You sent the plate and all that other stuff. I just gotta update that. Okay.
Right. Or either just write it on your documentation. You can write it in. The VIN number. Just make sure you're using a blue pen, which is rare to find nowadays. I wonder why.
Like Mad Max say, you better know it.
Right. If you notice, black pens you can find everywhere. For the blue pen, you have some difficulty finding nowadays.
Yeah, that's like gold.
I'm the only one at the in my post office when we endorse mail, like if it's a banking house, you got to endorse it or address the unknown or return to sender, whatever. I'm the only one to use red pens or blue.
Right.
If I don't have red.
Right. Okay, good.
What's it ease?
So what's your ease? Peace.
What's your ease?
Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods.
Peace, God.
What's your ease?
What's your ease?
when I was looking in the group, and the sister was talking about her court case.
Right.
So I was saying that, listen, you gotta kill the case from the start.
Right.
You the beneficiary. Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk, but you gotta stand on your 10 when you go in there. Number one, don't pass the bar, because that's gonna make you cargo with a shit.
Right.
Number two, express that you are not the illegus, and the fact that you corrected your status in the public and in the private gives you full autonomy from the illegals.
Right.
So when they talking that bull, you like, yo, that's not me. That's a corporate fiction. But you gotta serve them ahead of time with the denial of corporate status.
Of corporate status, right? Exactly. And also going in with affidavit of special appearance. Don't let person to have a legitimate over you.
So she did what's the title? So the sister in Sumati, we talking about the minimum. So she dealing with a rights to travel matter. And so she's sending her paperwork as far as the special appearance and everything like that. But they say that they're not accepting the paperwork.
I'm saying somewhere in the process, though, she gave them jurisdiction. Somewhere in the process, it could be something simple.
I'm thinking.
Like for instance,
and I'm gonna stop you there, Ralph. I'm thinking where she getting caught up is the vehicle that she is in question. She's still paying a car note for it, and and two, she took it out on a straw name, so stuff like that. I'm seeing that's where they're trying to,
hold jurisdiction over.
Hold jurisdiction, exactly.
Yeah, especially if you paying car note, that means somebody got that legal title, and it go back to trust law too. You feel me? If somebody else got that, got a title.
The Secretary of State has that information. Yeah.
Yeah, because
so in that case, Doc, she would need to do.
The car lot got it registered. Because when you pull out the car lot, they got to register the shit.
Right. And that's why, actually, when they register, if you get any documents from there, you need to take it down along with the UCC-1 that you put on that automobile and have it signed, sealed, and delivered, as we would say right there at the Register of Deeds office. So you put it on the record. Right.
Yeah, you got to lien it because you are the authorized assigner of the illegal. So as the authorized assigner, you put the lien on the joint so you have full control under it. They can't sell it. They can't do nothing. And then you add it to your fee schedule.
Right, but in this case, you're right, my brother. But in this case, she didn't do the process as the asset protection, and she don't have a trust. Right. So it was open in the open field for anybody to grab.
That actually should be something. That should be something that we build. That we should definitely try to build on, like all our nationals moving in that kind of way. Because then we're gonna start thinking. Because people start thinking that this not working, when it's just really admin. Right. You got to know how to do admin process. Everything is based off of admin. Everything is based, and then they're familiar with
contract law.
Exactly, contract law. So you got to move within that contract or within trust, within those realms. And we can do it. It just takes time for us to study that area. But yeah, we're working with it in council. Go ahead, Prince.
I ain't gonna lie. I've been learning on trial and error. So that's I don't know. I learned best bumping my head a few times with them, but once I got the idea of how the mechanics work, when that judge said to me, when the judge looked at me and said, "Well, basically it's up to you. What do you want to do?" I got myself out of jail. So everybody else was talking crazy. Plus, Doc sent a letter. It's like, yo, we got to become a government, man. We just got to become a government. Everybody got to take on a position because they can't do shit for real. They can't do nothing unless we consent to it.
And she said that too.
In any case with them, should be transferred to us.
Exactly.
To our court system. And we won't say the word consular necessarily, but we have a Supreme Court. You know, and our Supreme Court, you know, that information from their court should be transferred to our court.
Absolutely.
You know?
So that's
why I tried to promote pardon self guard, my bad. That's why I tried to promote General Belton to you, because he has his courts up and running, and he's running it based off of the Virginia Code, because we remember when they came here, they came to Jamestown, Virginia. The first colony was established right there. So in the Virginia Code, plus we know that the Virginia London Company went belly up. But the second charter that they issued was Plymouth, Delaware, which is where the Social Security and all of the numbers come from.
And that's what we talked about earlier. Exactly.
And we already
Delaware is the first state.
Man, I love y'all.
We got our course ready, boy. We got our course ready. We just got to put, put in the work into different positions.
We got to do this structure it and have it set it up.
I just want to hand it off like, chapter 43, the holy instructions from the prophet and instructions of knowledge. It says, if there's anything lovely, if there's anything desirable, if there is anything within the reach of a man that is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? And yet, who is that attaineth it? And that's just how I wanted to respond with Alim when he was talking about the different generations and who holds the knowledge and things of that nature. And that's kind of how, I look at that.
No doubt.
That's peace right there. Man, like I said, I know I'll be in the cut, because I'll be moving around doing what I'm doing, but this information, I ponder on it every night, and I be looking at stuff every night. I just be analyzing it. Our paperwork when they locked me up that last time in Nevada, and they held me for 2.5 months, my wife sent me, I told her just send me my paperwork. And I started writing affidavits from inside just based off of our paperwork. And I was nailing them to the wall. It wasn't nothing they could say or do. I was nailing them.
There you go.
So that's why I say, we already got all the information we need. Nobody could tell me that this stuff don't work. You can't tell me that shit, because I was slaying them from the inside.
Yeah, you just have to apply yourself correctly with the knowledge, using the knowledge. And it's golden.
Yeah, you got to definitely apply that. Definitely. Man.
So, we have a lot of work to do, sir, because we still got to do a structure where, we could say, okay, this is a template of a format in case this situation happens. This is what is going to have to happen. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And we already have that set out where we already have it established. And it's just now for it to, be done when the situation arises.
Right. I mean, you see how their system is set up. They compartmentalize everything. So everybody who runs a certain function is separated, and they don't even know what the other person does. You know what I'm saying? But in our case, it's got to be a cover down. If I can't get in touch with Ralph Bay or Doc or anybody, you know what I'm saying? Who do I call? I think that's what we need to do, to set up a number list and be like, everybody's trained in each area and then cross-pollinate each area so you got other people that can cover down. You know what I'm saying? In case of an emergency, man. You got to have an emergency line. Like, I get locked up, who do I call from that jail phone? That first call?
Right.
Gotta go to a line. And then we all go, and then we all get into action as soon as something happens. Like pass it down, pass it through the network, and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way. And we gotta do the same thing that Dalton and them doing. We gotta have our uniforms, our own marshals. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to file paperwork, but it's another thing you got somebody showing up.
That's the thing about that nullifies these brothers talking about you don't need no paperwork, don't it?
Right.
That nullifies that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you live in proof that it does work.
Right.
Oh, it definitely works. I just killed the case out here. Got pulled over. And I was driving somewhere, I was traveling to somebody else's conveyance. And they used to straight violating officers, all kinds of stuff. I ain't say nothing, but I don't consent to nothing. I just kept telling them I don't consent to nothing. Asking me all kinds of questions, none of your business. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting them with all of that. And I was making sure he was recording me. And that was it. When I walked in the courtroom, I told the judge, that ain't even me. They charged me under the legal's name and everything. Well, my state ID say this. I was holding my ID up. Look at my ID. She didn't even want to look at the ID. I told the bailiff, I said, yo, come here. Come here. I said, look, what that say? Oh, it was read by an officer of the court. All right, I'm going to holler at you. He was like, well, you going to stay and get your trial information? I said, it ain't my trial information. Bye. And then when I walked out, I filed the negative avertment.
Right.
It's already in our travel paperwork. And guess what they did? Folded. They tucked their tail, they folded. Then I filed the Form 56 and the Form 211 right behind that shit.
Exactly.
So I ain't heard nothing since. Matter of fact, they don't even look at me. I drive by, I travel by whatever I'm in. They don't say nothing. They see me and they go the other way. So we got to definitely do a network phone list, and put that step-by-step process together. It's long.
For sure.
It's long.
It's long.
Peace. Can I get this report?
Peace. I'll tell you what's the that's what I mean.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's the ish.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's the ish.
That's it.
Can I get the reporting, Dr. Lee?
Yep.
How easy?
Okay.